Thank you again for having me, and it's nice to see both of you again.
Likewise. So, do you want to start off and tell us a little bit of what you do right now?
Yes, for sure. So, start off with my name is Deepika. I am currently at Salesforce as an account executive for financial services. So, what I do is I am selling this product known as MuleSoft. It's an automation integration and AI platform, which is like pretty cool right now in today's world. And I get to sell this to banks, credit unions, fintechs, and it's really interesting role because I'm coming from a finance background where I was working at a bank. So I know how banks work, how they think, what compliance, what risks, all that stuff. So now I got to be in a tech perspective and sell this product to a bank. So it's really cool to be on the other side of things instead of working with CFOs. Now I work with CTOs, CIOs of regional, local, and investment banks as well. So it's a little bit of everything. I cover West Coast territory, and the best part of the job is I'm remote, so I get to work from home. But there's also a lot of travel involved, so I'm traveling pretty much every week at this rate, actually.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Traveling a lot. Well, following up on that, so like you said, you've been like an account executive, but we also heard you were in the investment banking field for a bit. For people and for students who don't know specifically what those fields entail, would you be able to explain what those two jobs do in a simple way?
Yes. Okay. So it's actually like very different flavors of intensity, I would say. As an investment banker, my day was extremely structured and analytical. Think like deep financial modeling, working on pitch decks, which is basically just like PowerPoint decks. We call them pitch books, and working for like various client materials. It could be pricing, it could be creating an actual presentation to pitch to their C-suite, and a lot of tight deadlines, a lot of heads down work, long hours. Got to be very precise. They actually compare the first year of IB into as a first year med school resident. So it's like
Yeah.
very much same hours, very intense, and you're essentially helping companies become big, making reversible decisions, working on mergers, you're working on capital raises, restructuring. So everything has to be airtight. You're helping companies that are private become public, doing IPOs. There's a lot of different things you're working on that's very like high level, impactful work. As an account executive, it's actually kind of funny. It's very similar. You're just not helping companies with mergers and decisions, but you're actually selling products and services. Um, you're still doing high impactful work. This is more relationship driven. It's more dynamic. Like I'm talking to clients, I'm understanding their business problems, identifying where we can help, collaborating internally and pitching solutions. And 1 hour I might be taking a strategy call. Next hour I'm working on a pitch. Next hour I'm negotiating. Next hour I'm closing. It's very, very fast paced. So to summarize it, I would say banking, investment banking, like trains your brain how to make these high level, impactful decisions. And sales, it's training you on intuition, communication, emotional intelligence, taking a bit of everything. And you're just talking to people just like I am with you right now. So I think both are intense. It's just in different ways.
So we remember that you said how you did your college schooling for something
Mhm.
more STEM related.
Yes.
So how was the process of switching and how did some of the skills that you learned from the medical field kind of transcend into being an investment banker and an account executive?
Yeah. So I've always been fascinated and loved understanding how systems work, whether that's the human body or finance. I think finance gave me that intellectual challenge, but with faster feedback loops and a lot more interaction with people. And I love impact at scale. Like in finance and business, you can influence entire companies, markets, strategies. And once I saw that, the switch was like very natural for me, because in medicine, of course, you're making an impact. You're helping, making life altering decisions literally. And in finance, you're doing a similar thing, but a little bit different. Like, for instance, when I was working at investment banking, I was doing healthcare investment banking. So instead of instead of working on maybe a cure for cancer, like you would be as a doctor, it was more like helping companies merge to create that cancer fighting drug. So it's still impactful, different. And the way it worked, it was to make the switch. It was difficult, obviously, because investment bankers, these students are like training since day one. They're doing internships since like freshman year of college. You're taking all the courses. It's very high intense, and I had no idea what investment banking was. I didn't even think I was going to do it. I knew very late, unfortunately, in my career that I didn't want to do medicine. It was not right for me. I felt it after I got my first acceptance. I was not happy getting into medical school and think that was a change. Like that was an indicator for me, like, hey, something is wrong. Like I got to figure out what I want to do with my life. And I didn't really have much time, nor did I have anything really going for me besides medicine because I was very invested in it. I had publications. I worked in neonatology labs. I was in psychology labs. I wrote a book about medicine. Like I was very deep into it. So it was not like, oh, I had other things going for me. I had nothing going for me. So I had to quickly switch things around at 360 degrees, literally. I decided I want to first learn about business. I'm not really sure what it was, right? So I took this master's course, business management, that my university offered. Funny thing was, I applied that same day and I got accepted the same day. I had
Wow.
an interview just like this. I told them why I was, intrigued. And right after that, they're like, you're like accepted. Like, we like the passion. We like that you're trying to consider something new. So I got into the business management program. What it is, it's essentially a program for those who have never taken a business class ever in their life to take it. And you would be doing everything you do in 4 years of undergrad in 12 months. Which you
Wow.
can imagine it's very intense, very stressful, but very rewarding at the same time. And the cool part of this program was I got to get the internship experiences as well. Because you're getting the internship experience every summer, right? You have 4 years of undergrad, you're doing like various finance internships, you get to do in clubs. And I got to do all of that in a year. So I did a marketing internship, I did a consulting internship, I did I also worked for a healthcare startup company, actually, who
Mhm.
gave me an offer after I finished my master's. But I did a little bit of everything to boost my resume up. Besides that, on my own, I also did some certifications in financial modeling. I spent every single week talking to an alumni on the phone. I connected them on LinkedIn. I was like, hey, it looks like you're doing consulting. I'm just curious, like, what is your day to day? Can I take 15 minutes of your time? And I would get in a call with them. I probably spent, I would say, 2 to 3 hours a day just having conversations like this with different people. Probably weekly 50 to 100 people, easy. And I kept a tracker who I was speaking to, why. And I was learning, I was connecting dots. I was learning what consulting was. I was learning what investment banking was. I was learning what data scientist is, what is a business analyst. And I was connecting dots, taking notes, connecting, figuring out what do I like to do? What can I see myself being happy doing? Right. And of course, it's always a process. Not it doesn't happen overnight. You figure out what you want to do. So after doing all those internship experiences, after doing the education aspect of it, I took a job right at a master's at working at a healthcare startup. I was selling cardiac device pacemakers to hospitals, clinics. And it was cool because I was now on the business side of things, still making an impact in a different way. While I was doing that in that role, I did a bit of everything. I was doing sales, I was doing marketing, I was helping with financial analysis. I did that job like I felt like it was my baby, it was my startup. Like that was the feeling I felt. And I was doing that every single day, countless hours. I was in that role maybe 7 to 8 months. And then I was like, this is great, but I think I really wanted to try investment banking. And I took a shot in the dark. I applied to an MBA program in London. Don't ask me why. I was just like really curious. Actually, I applied to the top business school in London, London Business School, and applied to this program adjacently where I could work and study at the same time. So thankfully, my tuition was covered. I got accepted, and
Wow.
I got into HSBC investment banking track. So I did my first year IB in London. Actually, it's a completely different culture, but similar to America as well. So I was working. My hours were like what 6 a.m. to 5 p.m. And I
Wow.
had classes from 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. at night. So after class, I would be studying or doing work from the morning. So I had classes Monday, Wednesday, Friday. The days I did not have class, I was working at the bank like maybe till like 9, 10, 11 p.m. maybe, and then go back home, eat dinner, work out, and then log back into work. So it was a very crazy year. It taught me how to do in time management. And I think the skills that I had while being a medical, like a pre-med student, really translated over because you were thinking analytically. You are you're able to do problem solving at high level. You're very organized. You have a good discipline. I think all these skills really translated very well for me to be able to talk about why I wanted to investment banking because all these are skills that all investment bankers have. It's like at the end of the day, you're just solving high complex problems, and that's what people in medicine are doing on a daily basis as well. So, and I think many doctors are very curious and excited about the medical field because there's always so much to learn and it's a high impactful work. And I found that similar qualities in investment banking and finance. It's just a different spectrum of things. So yeah, that's a little bit of my background. Hopefully that answered your question.
I definitely did, yeah. So main points that were basically like the decision that you made to like go from STEM to finance was kind of catalyzed by how you weren't very happy with med school and you wanted to find a passion for something else. And feeding into that, for students who really don't know what like major to pick that would be like right for them, what would you tell them about making that decision and changing directions of study?
I say if you're not 1000% confident in going to medical field, then you should definitely take a class in, I don't know, it could be like economics, it could be finance, it could be a law class, whatever it is. Use your undergrad degree to actually try different things and not just stick into one, like, one box because I don't want to like sound negative, but honestly, undergrad degrees don't really matter. It's just you getting into it. It does not matter. It's just you learning to be an adult, you getting the discipline, you getting a piece of like knowledge of different things. But I mean, I was a psychology major, and I think that was the best major I could ever be because I learned how to think. I learned how to analyze how people think, how emotions work, all the qualities that are in a life of being a, either being a physician or being a finance major. Like I think psychology really helps you think how things work. So that was really beneficial for me. But I'm glad I was a psychology major because I got the chance to take some other classes. Like I took like sociology, I took philosophy classes. I think a liberal arts education, in my opinion, is one of the best because you get the all-rounded education. So I would say if you're not confident in what you're doing, just take a stab at it. Just take a class, see how you'd like. But to be to be completely honest, even though you take the class, you won't really understand how that field is. So you actually talk to people. Because everything you learn in class is just, it's just textbook stuff. You're not gonna really understand till you actually are shadowing people. In fact, when you talk to people right on the phone, ask them, am I allowed to come in as an unpaid intern and just like maybe observe how you're working, maybe for a day? Can I come with you to work? Or does your office have some kind of program, a discovery program where I can learn how it would be to do this job? And I would tell people, like, we're living in this world today where AI is everywhere, right? You probably can like figure out what each job does, even like by chat GPTing it. Like, what is it like being a lawyer, and they'll give you some things to think about. That is also super helpful. But I don't think anything beats the in-person experience you get when you're actually doing the job. So I would urge everybody take full advantage of your alumni, take full advantage of different career clubs. I was in AKSI near the end of it. That was really helpful too. So use your network. I think who you are is who your network is. So that was really helpful.
Mm-hmm.
So I think you worked at Goldman Sachs
Yeah.
and JP Morgan pretty early on in
Mm-hmm.
your career. So how did you get noticed by big companies like this, and how would you want to tell other people to get noticed that would come from a similar background as
Yeah,
yours?
like how do you shine and like stand out from all the other applicants and people who want to get noticed too?
I am not kidding you. Till today, all the jobs I've gotten, I didn't just apply like that. I was networking, like I told you. You talk with people, you go on LinkedIn, you let them know, hey, I want to hear what you're doing. And the more connections you make, more people notice you. And then they'll be like, oh, there's a spot opening in my team. I would love to interview you. Every single job I've had till today, every single interview I've done till today has only been because of networking. I have never formally applied. I have never done that track. And I'm being completely transparent about that. Like I have never just gone on the website. And I mean, I have. I just got rejected because no one's going to just look at you through like thousands of applications because nothing really about you really stands out to people. And if you just do it like that, right? You got to build the connections, you got to sound passionate and tell them why you're interested, right? And I think at the end of the day, we're all human. So having a human connection helps above anything else to shine.
Right.
Because they'll remember you. Oh, that was that girl who did X, Y, and Z, and that's why she's passionate. And having people vouch for you makes you shine more than anything else, I think.
Mm-hmm. And going back to how you were talking about you networking with other people and asking them if you can intern there or work in person where they're working, what was your success rate in them saying yes? Or how did you get them to say yes more often than saying no?
It's all about showing your credibility, telling them why you're interested. Everything has to be a story, like why you're here, what is driving you, what's motivating you. You got to let them know on that. And once they hear your story, they're going to be a bit more, for you working there or getting an internship or for you, like helping out. I think for me is I never am scared to ask because what's the worst that can happen? Them saying no, right? I would say always just ask people. You never know what they're going to say to you. So, I think my success rate, I don't know, like never thought about it, but most times when I asked, I've always got yeses from people. I've asked for referrals, I got a yes. I've asked to go to work with them. Obviously, sometimes that's not possible because of compliance reasons, but they did offer me like internship experiences. And they connected me to other people, like one person. Oh, this was crazy. So the way I got my Salesforce job is I randomly reached out to somebody on LinkedIn who had the same title as a job that I saw online. I said, hey, you're in Dallas. Can I get coffee with you? Just want to hear about your experience and learn more. And she said, of course, let's get coffee. She immediately responded. We got coffee the next day. During the coffee chat, I told her about my background, why I'm interested in the job at Salesforce. She was like, I think you sound great. You clearly are very passionate. And she referred me internally, told her manager about me. Next day, I had an interview. This all happened in that 1 week. Very next day, I met with her manager, interviewed with him. He liked me. And then, like, not the next day, but like a couple of days later, I met with his manager. And then I had my final interview round the next week. I had to do a pitch, or I was pitching a product to them, and they asked me questions and stuff. So within 4 rounds, within 2 weeks of me sending that message to her, I got the job offer.
That's amazing.
So it's just about how you market yourself, how you talk about why you want to do what you're doing. It's all about building a credibility, and you have to market yourself. I think I talked about that in the workshop last time as well. It's all about how you talk yourself up, basically.
Yeah.
So I don't think that anybody is born with like really good public speaking skills and like those types of skills naturally, right?
Yeah.
So I bet that during your transition into a more business focus, you had to do some self-development as well. And like you said, with time management and stuff. So what is something that you would tell even like high school students, undergrad college students, that to emphasize their own like work on to be more prepared in
public speaking.
Public speaking specifically. I mean, honestly, I was always so nervous in high school. I was so scared to present. I was terrified. I also had like a speech impediment as a kid as well. So for me, talking in front of people scared the crap out of me. But the only way to do it is if you just do it. Like you just have to keep doing it. Repetition really helps. I was in an IB program during high school. It's an international baccalaureate program. I think that really encouraged me to take chances. I had so many opportunities to do like presentations in class, and I just kept getting comfortable because just like, what's going to happen? No one's going to like stop me from talking when I'm doing it, right? And no one's going to be that mean or rude. And I just think the more and more I kept doing it, the more comfortable I felt. I didn't feel nervous anymore. And I think doing some breathing exercises before you actually like talk is really helpful as well. Calms you down and just honestly pep talking yourself. Like, what's the worst that can happen? I'm just gonna go talk there, be myself, be as authentic as it possibly can be. I think having that pep talk, reassuring yourself really does help.
Mm-hmm. And going back to your finance background, you were talking about how you took an accelerated course that kind of sped up 4 years of
Mm-hmm.
a business undergrad into 12 months. And talking about that, like looking at it from like a general scale, in the US, are there any major accelerated courses or courses that are found in many places that you would recommend to speed up the process? Or any accelerated courses in general, online, in person, that you would recommend?
For finance,
Yes, for finance or business.
um, accelerated. I mean, there's always so many not post back, postdoc, post grad programs you can do. There are several programs like the one I have done. In fact, not just for finance, even for medicine. Like if you were doing finance when I go into medicine, there's like post back programs. You can do entire pre med courses in 1 year. My sister actually did that. So I think there's so many courses everywhere. There's programs opening up every day. The best thing I would do all the time is just research, like read a lot of stuff, like hunt on Google. There's some certifications you can take. Those certifications are open and free to everybody. Coursera has some, LinkedIn Learning has some. So just like literally use AI to figure out how to make yourself the best candidate. Like learn about various courses that are there and then just do them. Like take some time, use a disciplined approach, take your weekends, days that you don't have classes, not studying, take that time to finish as many courses you can and you can learn stuff too along the way, right? So there's fast track master's program that are really helpful. There's this thing called Forage, Forage. And that one is really cool because it's free and it's offered by the biggest companies, JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, Capital One, Bank of America, all of them offer for you. And what it is, it's like you get to experience a day in the life of an investment banker or a software engineer or product manager. You do like a 4 to 6 hour course where they give you like virtual training. You do like a case basically. And if you complete the course, when you actually apply to that institution, they look at you more favorably compared to others because they know you already done this course. You know how it is. So
Yeah.
it's, I think, doing a mixture of things, doing certifications, talking to people every single day, um, and doing like, any virtual or hands-on internships, because a common thread of all that stuff is you educating yourself, you getting more aware of the field you're getting yourself into, and you feeling comfortable. And the most important thing is you're getting comfortable with the language. There's a whole other language in finance compared to the language in medicine, right? Or any career you go to. The words you use, you're getting more comfortable saying, utilizing it. Like even the word like pitch book, that kind of stuff. It's like it's not normal things that everybody knows about. And there's acronyms in every field possible. So you're getting more comfortable hearing all this stuff. And when you talk with people and you're using the same language that they're using, they get impressed. They're like, oh, Shoni knows about that. That's great. Like many people don't know about this outside the field. So again, your credibility is increasing.
Switching from STEM to finance, we're gonna start asking questions about finance and business,
Yeah.
and like tips about that. You want to go ahead and start?
Yeah, so you said that for your interviews and different things, you had to make a lot of pitches.
Yeah.
So, any tips of making a good pitch? Because I know you probably right now in your current job make a lot of pitches to
Yeah. Pitching
sell
every day.
yourself.
So it's very important to be as meticulous as possible, very detail oriented, very structured. You want to have a flow. Any pitch and every pitch is essentially just storytelling. You're just telling a story as to why either you're pitching yourself in an interview, you're pitching a product to a company. It's all about why. Why is it important? How will you make it happen? And what are the benefits? And then just entwining it all together into a story, just explaining it to people. That's how it is high level. Even me selling a product to a CFO, right? It's all about what are what is the value they're getting? And if I'm doing an interview, what is the value the company will get by hiring me? What will I bring to the table? It's all about keeping all that in mind, being very organized. I think I mentioned organization, being meticulous, telling a story, and then being credible. You got to make sure whatever you're saying, there's substance behind it. There's actual good examples, or you have sources, all that stuff. I think all that really helps pitching. And it's all about practicing as well. You cannot just expect to be amazing day one. More that you practice, the better it is. Before I do a pitch, I always practice at least 3 to 4 times saying the words, saying everything. And sometimes practicing, I record myself and hear myself again and again and again and just say, oh, what could I have made better? And that is really helpful. Even for interview prep, I record myself. I'm doing interviews because nowadays, most of the interviews are being recorded anyway, and they have AI screen the interviews. I don't know if you guys know this. They have AI screen the interviews to make sure the things you're saying are not just from ChatGPT or somewhere else. It's actually you. It's actually your authentic self.
Yeah, me too.
We had
Yeah.
no idea about that.
Yeah.
Going from that pitch, the thing you're talking about pitches, obviously public speaking is something really important in the business field as you're presenting ideas, presenting cases, and trying to close deals and stuff like that. And because of that, obviously it requires a lot of soft skills. So looking into that, what skill do you wish schools taught better? Because it actually matters in jobs regarding finance and business. So that students and people like watching the podcast can go ahead and focus on these skills that aren't like primarily as focused in schools and institutions.
It's a good question. And I think some of the stuff that we've already talked about today, public speaking, definitely I think needs to be more and more like more prevalent in school systems and education. Public speaking, definitely. I would say another soft skill is I don't think schools spend enough time in having students be more emotionally intelligent. Like I think being aware of your surroundings, who you're talking to, who your audience is very important. Um, yeah, I think it all comes back to public speaking and just speaking up basically. That's really important. And I mean, I think you guys get trained on what Excel stuff. That's very important as well. Of course, having the hard skills is important. But besides that, it's just about talking to people. You gotta be able to be personable. You gotta be transparent, be authentic. Uh, and I think public speaking really does it. Some education systems in like Singapore and Asia, they actually use this system called problem-based education system where they actually have that. Like you don't get graded on multiple choice questions or like written exams. The way they grade you is by orally testing you.
Oh wow.
In fact, they like ask you like, oh, like what is photosynthesis? And you have to actually like talk back to them, give them examples, and they like basically do like a one-on-one kind of like this. And that's how people pass their classes. And I think that's so important because that really shows how much you actually know. Because I don't believe in multiple choice tests at all. I don't think that shows enough about how much you actually know because it's really important for you to be able to apply those skills in a setting, you know?
Definitely.
So I think another skill that's really important is like case studies. I don't know if you guys know what case studies are. Case studies are something you'll face a lot if you do a consulting interview. Even medical school interviews also have that. Case studies is where they give you different information, like a problem, like a business problem. They ask you how would you solve it. So you're not using calculator, you're not using anything. You're using yourself, your brain, and that's pretty much it. I think case studies is something that schools should focus more on teaching how to solve. It's all about structured thinking. It's all about solving with creativity. It's solving with like creativity, structure, patience, and logic. And I don't think you guys get trained much on that at all.
I don't think so. Yeah. I think the biggest thing we can take back from that is that I feel like what you're saying takes all these concepts we learn in school and turns them into something that's application based so we can apply them into a real world setting.
Exactly.
Really important. Yeah.
Yeah, our schools don't usually do that. It's a lot of like multiple choice
And stuff like that.
So what you're saying, yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, there's no other way for them to test you, right? To know if you know stuff. So Obviously, multiple choice is the easiest thing for education systems to do, to be able to test people high level.
Right.
But people can be great test takers and not be good in actually applying stuff in real life.
Mm-hmm.
Other people get nervous on tests, not the best test takers, but are really knowledgeable, really skillful. So I think education is just going to be a little bit more creative in how they test knowledge of students these days.
Right.
So, in the finance field, you've been working in that, or you have education in that too. What is the biggest misconception you'd say about those related jobs?
Sorry?
What's like the biggest misconception you have like about finance jobs? I think that's what you're trying to say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, about finance jobs. Misconception. That you need to be good at math. I think everyone thinks that you got to be good at math, you got to be good at like high level thinking. I don't think that's necessarily true. It's obviously very helpful to be good at math, but there's more to finance than just a financial analyst that you guys think about. You know, everyone thinks Excel, that's all there is. No, there's a lot of different functions within finance that nobody thinks about. There's risk, there's compliance, there is legal, there is product, there is engineering. There's so many facets to finance that I don't think is like thought enough.
Definitely.
People
Yeah.
just think about the very straightforward stuff.
Shifting over into cold emailing, I think you've already touched on a lot about networking and public speaking, but what is one way that you think, like, if a student emailed you, that they're more likely to get a response for?
I think with the way how things are going right now in today's world, especially with all the layoffs and stuff that's happening, I think don't just try one method. You gotta try multiple methods. Cold emailing could be good if you're concise, if you introduce yourself and you attach like something, maybe your piece of work or your resume or cover letter or something, and then ask them for like 50. Don't ask them for a lot more than they can offer, right? Like don't ask for like an hour, don't ask for 30 minutes, that's 15 minutes. Start small because everyone has busy lives and you have to be very cognizant of that. But I think LinkedIn is really helpful. I think that's helped me more than anything else because on LinkedIn, it's funny because you can personalize an invite before you send it across to somebody. I think I mentioned that, right?
Yeah.
You are limited to only 300 characters. I think that's so smart because no one's going to be reading like paragraphs and paragraphs, right? I think the more concise you are, the more straightforward your helps you stand out more.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely. I didn't know about that word limit. I think that's a very smart thing that LinkedIn does.
Yeah.
Going back to cold emailing. So obviously, this is more general. It's a more general question, but networking is something that has more of like a negative or like scary connotation, especially for like high school students our age. So, being in the shoes of someone our age or like a high schooler or an undergrad person, what is one way we can start building a network through our, like, I wouldn't say limited resources, but our not as vast resources?
You guys have the biggest resources possible. You're in a college. You have a network of alumni. You reach out to all your alumni. You go to LinkedIn, type in your university, look at people who graduated from your school, what jobs they're doing. That's your network. You have the biggest asset is that you're in college right now. You have your professors to talk to. Professors know other people as well. You have your current students, like you don't know, like your friends' parents. You don't know where they're working, right? Use all those connections. Like talk to your friends' parents, talk to your alumni, talk to your professors. I think combination of that will help you build your network.
What about for high schoolers? Because we're both high schoolers, so we also don't have a lot of people that we know. I mean, we have our parents, but
Sorry, I forgot you guys are in high school, not college.
it's okay.
I think in high school that gets a little bit more tough, right? Because you're still not credible enough. They're like, you guys are too
Right.
young, all that. It's hard for sure. I've been there. I still think you can leverage your friends, family. Actually, when I was in high school, I was shadowing so many doctors through my friends and stuff. I probably pulled over 500 plus hours just shadowing doctors. I worked in the labor delivery room. I saw several surgeries. all that as a high school student, I volunteered at a hospital. So I don't think you being a high school could ever stop you.
Mm-hmm.
I think you can reach out. I'm sure guys have family members, cousins, whoever it is, reach out to them, reach out to your teachers as well. Like your teachers should have people in their network. I'm sure they've all attended universities as well. They can connect you with their university alumni. You can ask them if they have friends in a certain field you can talk to. You can ask your parents. Your parents are your biggest assets. Like they probably know a lot of different people. They are doing specific careers that you may be interested in. So ask them more specific questions. They walked in your shoes, right? So siblings, parents, family, teachers, you just leverage whoever you can. Like the fact that you reached out to me, you met me at an event, reach out to me, and I'm helping you. And if you have any questions about Goldman or JP Morgan or wherever I worked at, I'm happy to connect you to somebody there, right? So just that's how it is. Just you gotta step out of your comfort zone and just take the first step and just ask.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So following up on the stuff you said about shadowing in the medical field and any field in general. So as obviously we're high school students, so I would say compared to a college student, you didn't have like those resources or the alumni and stuff. So how did you reach out to them? And as a person, like as someone who didn't have as much experience as other people who were also reaching out to them, how did you stand out in that way? And additionally, did you reach out to the institution itself or like specific people? And which one do you find has the better acceptance rate?
Definitely specific people. Don't reach for the institution. They're not going to respond to you. I don't know. I was saying, I think I said something along the lines of like, "Hi, I am a high school student interested in X, Y, and Z. I have experience by studying X, Y, and Z. I have volunteered at X, Y, and Z." Just like you got to make yourself credible still. No, they're not going to say no to you just because you're in high school. They're going to say no to you if you don't give them enough substance, Every message you reach out has to have intention, has to be a valuable message.
Mm-hmm.
So you can say, like for instance, you can say, I've been taking some economics classes recently in high school. I did a model on X, Y, and Z. I wanted to learn a little bit more about your job working at Bloomberg. Do you ever utilize this on a daily basis? Do you work on this stuff on a daily basis? Can I speak to you for 10, 15 minutes just to learn more about what you do at that company? Just stuff like that.
Yeah.
It doesn't have anything deep. It can be something you learn in class. You're curious if they use that in their day to day. I would say start with your parents. Ask them who you can connect to.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I think the biggest takeaway then is just like be more specific and more concise in what you're saying, so you probably get a response back.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So we've touched a lot on like networking, and you've given a lot of advice to us and the people watching. Kind of closing up, what do you think is one lesson or one belief that really changed your approach to your career?
Sorry, can you ask that question one more time?
Mm-hmm. What is a belief or lesson that changed your approach to your career?
Belief. I think it's never too late to try something. I've tried medicine, I have tried investment banking, now I'm trying sales. I think if you don't step out of your comfort zone and try, like you're gonna just have regrets. That's how I think about it. I feel like I'm learning something new every single day. And I'm constantly curious. I'm constantly energized by learning more things. So if you have the passion that you're okay with change, because one thing I've noticed through all my careers, like everything I've done so far in life, is that change is the only constant you're going to find. Things are always evolving, things are always changing, and you got to be adaptable to change. You got to know how to approach change. And if you're okay with that, if you're okay to step out of your comfort zone, you're okay with change, you're okay with learning something new, then I think you'll have a successful career. It doesn't matter what you do. And you're okay to change your mind. It's okay to do that. Like it's not a bad thing. It's okay if you do like choose path A and you're like, you know what, I'm not really interested in it. But at least you tried it, right? You tried it, you have experience in it, you have reason as to why, but you gained something valuable by trying that path A. And then you can go try path B. Like I think life is too short not to try, in my opinion. And that's what's always been my philosophy as I continue my career. And right now I'm enjoying sales, but maybe in a few years from now, I might want to try something else. And I'm gonna go ahead and do that. So
Right. I think holding about change being something to embrace and not be scared of
yeah.
is a really good idea. Final question for this
Yes.
podcast episode would be, do you have any final thoughts or tips to give our audience regarding how to be successful in the finance or business field?
Um, I would say learn how to think, not just execute. Ask why constantly. I would say build relationships early because your reputation travels faster than your resume. Um, I would say be uncomfortably prepared. Over preparing is never a bad thing. It helps you calm down. It helps you anticipate what the worst thing possible. And I would say don't fake confidence, build competence. Confidence, I think it comes naturally when you know your stuff. And honestly, I think consistency beats talent every single time. People who show up, people who follow up, people and improve 1% daily end up winning in the long scheme of things, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
That's great. That's great advice. And
Yeah.
I think that our viewers also would agree as well.
I'm glad.
So kind of shifting before we
Yeah.
end. So your current job, what is something that surprised you the most?
Mm-hmm.
Because I mean, you've learned so many skills through networking and stuff, but I bet that sales is really different. It's a lot about understanding people.
Yep.
So
Um, I think in sales is all about networking, right? You gotta network to talk to the right people. It's not easy getting your foot into the door unless you network, even in sales. One thing that surprised me. Let's see. It's a very heavy quota-based role. So you gotta meet your quotas on a monthly basis and a quarterly basis. And yes, you're trying to help businesses with the task, but you also have to keep in mind of your own standards that you have to made at work. That's something that was a little bit different for me. Um, and negotiating. Negotiating a skill that's super important in a sales role. I didn't realize how much till now. You're not just negotiating pricing, you're negotiating contracts, multi-year contracts, you're negotiating time frames, you're negotiating on a daily basis. And that's a very important skill to have.
Right. Well, again, thank you so much for all the
Yeah,
advice
for
you
sure.
gave
thank
us.
you.
This is great. I think you guys are doing a phenomenal job for being in high school, doing a podcast and like this. And you're what I really admire is like you're stepping out of your comfort zone. You're being curious. You're asking people about different things, and you're doing it in a public platform so that others can also learn along with you and follow you in this journey. I think it's very, very impressive. You should be very proud of yourselves.
Thank you.
Well, thank you so much
Appreciate
again.
it.
Yeah.
I bet our audience has a lot to take away from this meeting and this episode. And again, we wish you a wonderful rest of your day. And
Thank
we're so
you.
happy you were here.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.